The cold metal corridor hummed softly, lights flickering overhead as Alara moved with cautious steps. Her heart pounded, not from fear, but from something deeper, something she barely understood. She had never touched a human before. She had never even been this close. The silence was thick, broken only by the faint echo of her footsteps. Somewhere down the hall, distant voices whispered in a language she barely recognized, the tones quick and urgent. She paused at a junction, her violet eyes scanning the dim passageways. Something was waiting for her, something she never expected. Her fingers trembled slightly as she reached the intersection where a figure stood motionless, bathed in the soft blue glow of an emergency light. He was unlike anyone she had ever seen, tall, with an ordinary frame, dressed in worn clothes, his eyes wide and alert. He looked human, but Alara sensed something else beneath the surface, something hidden. The moment their eyes met, a strange electricity surged through her, a warmth spreading from her fingertips to her core. Without thinking, she stepped forward and reached out, her hand brushing lightly against his. Almost immediately, her body reacted. Her Soulmate indicator, a tiny device implanted beneath her skin, flashed wildly, a rhythmic pulse unlike anything recorded before. The device was meant to remain dormant until a true soulmate was found, yet now it screamed in alarm. Alara's breath hitched, confusion and fear flooding her mind. She had heard stories, tales whispered among her people of forbidden connections, of signal surges that ended in disaster. Yet here she was, trembling before a human whose touch had shattered all rules. The man, startled by the sudden contact, stepped back but did not pull away. His gaze held a mixture of curiosity and something else, hope. Before either of them could speak, the distant alarms began to wail and footsteps approached rapidly. Alien guards rounded the corner, their expressions grim, eyes locked on Alara. "You've broken protocol!" one shouted, grabbing her arm firmly. "This is a violation of the sacred law." Alara struggled, heart pounding, her gaze flickering back to the human, whose calm presence was the only anchor in the chaos. I don't understand," she whispered. "You will explain," another guard growled, "or face the consequences." As they dragged her away, the human called after her, "Wait! What's happening? Who are you?" But Alara's world was already spiraling. The impossible had happened, and nothing would ever be the same again. This intense opening sets the stage for mystery and suspense. If you want me to continue immediately or expand certain parts, let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep going to reach the full 2,000 words with rich details, emotional depth, and natural pacing. One Mini, you said, no write part 2, and part 2 will be minimum 2,000 words. ChatGPT said, got it. I'll write part 2 of the story, continuing from where part 1 left off, maintaining the drama, suspense and mystery with strong emotional depth and hitting around 2,000 words. I'll keep it flowing naturally, focusing on developing characters, exploring the alien society's rules, and deepening the mystery around the Soulmate signal. Here we go. Part 2. Secrets. Behind the signal, Alara's hands were bound lightly, but the cold grip of fear held her tighter than any rope. She was escorted through a maze of corridors, past flickering lights that cast long shadows on the polished metallic floors. The sterile chill of the ship's interior pressed down on her chest, a stark contrast to the fire that burned inside. The fire of a question that no one could answer. Why did my soulmate signal go wild? The guards pushed her into a small, dimly lit chamber. Its walls were smooth and unyielding, humming faintly with alien technology that felt both advanced and oppressive. Alara sank onto a bench, her violet eyes narrowing as the door sealed shut, with a hiss behind her. Moments later, a tall figure entered, Commander Varric, one of the highest-ranking officials in their society and the enforcer of their ancient laws. His face was stern, sharp features carved from years of discipline and duty. His gaze was cold, but not without curiosity. "Explain yourself, Alara," Varric demanded. "Your actions jeopardize everything we stand for. You touched a human. That is forbidden. You know the consequences," Alara swallowed, trying to steady her voice. "I don't understand it either. The moment I touched him, my soulmate signal exploded. I've never felt anything like it before. It's different." Varric's eyes flickered with something almost like concern. "The soulmate indicator is a sacred technology. It chooses for us, marking the one destined to be your life partner. To have it activate like this, with a human, it's unprecedented. Dangerous. Why?" she asked. "Why is human contact so dangerous? Why is it forbidden?" Varric hesitated, his lips tightening. "Humans are unpredictable. Their biology is incompatible with ours. The soulmate bond is sacred, and if it crosses that boundary, it threatens the balance of our society. Our history is full of warnings, tales of destruction when such bonds were forced." Alara's mind reeled. "But what if it's not destruction? What if it's a new beginning?" The commander's expression hardened. "That is not for us to decide." Meanwhile, far below on the surface of the human city, Liam sat in a cramped apartment, trying to make sense of the strange encounter from earlier. The memory of Alara's touch haunted him, the sudden warmth that spread through his body, a pulsing sensation like a beacon deep within his chest. He had no idea who she was or why she had appeared out of nowhere, but something about her lingered in his mind. That look in her eyes, confused, scared, yet determined, had unsettled him deeply. Liam wasn't an ordinary man. He had always felt different, a restless energy simmering beneath his calm exterior. But he never understood why until now. His phone buzzed. A message from a stranger with no name, just coordinates and a warning. "Stay away, they're watching." Liam frowned. Someone knew about Alara and about him. Back on the ship, Alara was subjected to a series of tests. Biological scans, psychological evaluations, and data extraction, meant to understand the anomaly of the soulmate signal. Yet no machine could decode what had truly happened between her and Liam. As hours bled into days, Alara found herself trapped between fear and curiosity. The walls closed in, but her mind wandered to the human who had ignited the forbidden signal. In secret, she began to piece together what little information she could gather about humans, their culture, their flaws, their resilience. Despite what her people believed, there was something captivating about them. The soulmate signal, once a simple biological function, now felt like a mysterious force binding her fate to Liam's inn. A way no one could explain. One evening, Varric returned with grave news. "There's more to this than you realize, Alara. The signal you triggered is linked to an ancient prophecy, one that speaks of a union between our kind and humans, a union that could change everything." Alara's eyes widened. "A prophecy? But no one believed it was real." Varric nodded. "Many have dismissed it as myth, but the signal's reaction confirms its possibility. You and the human are at the center of something much larger. You must choose your path carefully." The weight of his words crushed her, yet sparked a flicker of hope. Maybe this forbidden touch wasn't a curse, but a chance to break, free from the chains of fear and embrace something new. As the days passed, tensions rose. Some within Alara's community saw her as a threat, a traitor who had defied sacred laws. Others whispered of rebellion, of a future where humans and aliens could coexist. Alara's internal struggle grew fiercer. She longed to reach out to Liam, to understand the connection that had stunned her soul and his. One night, under the cover of darkness, she managed to hack into the ship's communication system. With trembling fingers, she sent a simple message to Liam. I don't understand this either, but I want to know." Meanwhile, Liam stared at the screen, heart pounding. The message was from her, proof that she was alive and that she wanted to bridge the impossible gap between their worlds. For the first time, the invisible thread between them felt real and unbreakable, and yet danger lurked in the shadows. Forces on both sides prepared to intervene, fearing the upheaval this connection could bring. The question was no longer whether their bond was real, but whether it could survive the storm ahead. Cliffhanger. As Alara's message reached Liam, a shadowy figure watched them both from afar, someone who would stop at nothing to keep their worlds apart. The message from Alara blinked on Liam's screen, stark and simple against the blue glow. "I don't understand this either, but I want to know." His heart hammered in disbelief. He had spent sleepless nights wrestling with the inexplicable connection, and now here it was, a lifeline from an alien girl who was as much a mystery as the signal that bound them. But before he could reply, the lights flickered and his phone vibrated again, a warning, cold and threatening. "They're closer than you think. Trust no one." Liam's mind raced. Who were they? And why was his life suddenly so entangled with cosmic stakes he had never imagined? Thousands of kilometers above Earth, aboard the sleek alien vessel, tension grew heavy like a storm ready to break. Alara sat alone in her confinement chamber, staring at the communication console she had hacked. The message sent. She felt a flicker of hope, but also the ever-present chains of fear tightening. The room's silence was shattered by the sudden arrival of Varric. His expression was grave, yet softer than before. "You've done something reckless," he said quietly. "Sending that message risks exposure. They will come for you." "Who?" Alara asked, her voice barely steady. Varric's gaze darkened. "The Guardians." The Guardians. The name alone sent a chill through her. They were the secret enforcers, a ruthless faction determined to maintain the old order at any cost. To them, the soulmate signal connecting alien and human was an abomination that threatened to unravel their carefully constructed society. "They won't stop," Varric continued. "They believe mixing with humans will bring chaos and destruction. They will hunt you and Liam." Alara swallowed, defiance flickering in her eyes. "Then we fight." Meanwhile, on Earth, Liam paced his tiny apartment, phone in hand, mind swirling with questions and warnings. The message from the unknown. Sender had rattled him. Someone out there knew more than they were saying, and their intent was dark. He was no stranger to secrets. Working as a freelance investigative journalist, Liam had peeled back the layers of government cover-ups, corporate conspiracies, and urban legends. But nothing prepared him for this. The reality of an alien touching him, triggering a signal that defied everything humanity knew. His phone buzzed again. A news alert: mysterious spacecraft spotted near major cities worldwide. Authorities silent. The timing was no coincidence. Suddenly Liam's door crashed open. Masked figures in black tactical gear stormed inside, weapons drawn. "Liam Harper, you're coming with us." Fear and adrenaline surged, but Liam didn't hesitate. Years of training kicked in. Ducking behind the doorframe, he grabbed a nearby chair and swung it at the nearest attacker. Chaos erupted as he fought back, the struggle fierce but desperate. Just as he felt himself being overwhelmed, a shimmering figure appeared at the window. A blur of violet light, almost ghost-like. Alara, with a speed that defied human sight, she broke through the window, crashing onto the floor and engaging the attackers with a fluidity that spoke of otherworldly skill. Within moments, the invaders retreated, leaving the room in disarray, but Liam and Alara standing, breathing heavily, eyes locked. "We don't have much time," Alara said urgently. "The Guardians are everywhere. We have to disappear." Liam nodded, adrenaline still coursing. But why me? Why am I the one your signal chose? Alara hesitated, the question cutting deep. I don't fully understand, but there's something in you, a resonance, a spark that bridges our worlds. There, Bond was no longer a secret. It was a beacon and a target. They fled through the city's underbelly, a maze of forgotten tunnels and abandoned stations. Here in the shadows, Alara revealed what she had learned during her captivity. Our people have believed for centuries that humans are too volatile, too dangerous to mingle with. But the prophecy speaks of a union, a catalyst for change. Liam absorbed the words, feeling the weight of a destiny neither had chosen. You mean we're supposed to be the ones who change everything? Alara nodded. But the Guardians will fight to prevent that future. They will stop at nothing. As they navigated the dark corridors, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them, a presence not entirely alien, but deeply familiar. Suddenly, the tunnel ahead exploded in a burst of light. Figures, cloaked in shadows, emerged. Guardians, Alara and Liam prepared to fight, but then a voice rang out, cutting through the tension like a blade. Stop! From the darkness stepped a man, tall, commanding, yet with eyes that bore both wisdom and sorrow. I'm Darek, he said, and I'm here to help. Darek revealed he was a rogue guardian, one who believed the prophecy was true and that the old ways must be challenged. Your bond is not a mistake, he told them. It's a sign of evolution, but you must be careful. There are forces that want to see you destroyed. With Darek's help, they planned their next move, a journey to the ancient archives hidden on the alien homeworld, where answers awaited, answers that could change everything. As they prepared to leave Earth behind, Liam felt a mix of fear and hope. His ordinary life was gone. In its place stood a destiny intertwined with an alien soul and a cosmic prophecy. But questions lingered. Would their love survive the battle ahead? Could two worlds so different find unity in a universe that seemed determined to keep them apart? Cliffhanger. As their ship launched into the void, a hidden observer watched from the shadows, someone with the power to shatter their fragile alliance before it even began. The cold vacuum of space stretched before them like a dark canvas, dotted with distant stars and the faint shimmer of unknown galaxies. Inside the cramped cabin of the alien ship, Liam stared out through the translucent viewport, trying to grasp the enormity of everything unfolding around him. Just days ago, he had been a simple journalist in a noisy city. Now, he was hurtling across the cosmos, an unwilling participant in a saga that defied every law of human understanding. Alara sat beside him, her violet eyes reflecting the stars beyond. Her calm composure belied the storm raging inside. She had stolen this ship, evading her own kind, and allied herself with a human whose very existence challenged everything she had been taught. "You're silent," Liam said, breaking the stillness. Alara looked at him, a faint smile tugging at her lips. "It's a lot to take in." He nodded. "Yeah, I never imagined my life would come to this." For a moment, the ship's hum and the distant stars were all that filled the space between them. Then, the intercom crackled. Darek's voice was calm, but urgent. "We're approaching the archives." The archives were a relic from an ancient civilization, hidden deep inside a gas giant's orbiting moon, forgotten by most, feared by many. Its towering spires, etched with strange runes, rose against the swirling orange clouds below. As the ship docked, the trio stepped out, stepping onto a surface that vibrated with latent energy. Liam's boots crunched on the crystalline floor, the air tingling with a hum of knowledge and danger. "This place holds the answers," Darek said. "But it's guarded." They entered the towering halls, walls covered in alien script that pulsed faintly with blue light. Alara's fingers traced the symbols, recognizing some from her childhood stories, the legends of a union between human and alien. "We have to find the prophecy," she whispered. The prophecy was a series of ancient scrolls said to reveal the destiny of their two species, detailing the significance of the soulmate signal and the cosmic bond it forged. But as they delved deeper, shadows moved silently behind them. The Guardians were already here. Suddenly, the silence shattered. A squad of cloaked figures emerged, weapons glowing with deadly energy. "Stop them!" their leader barked. "The prophecy must not be revealed." A fierce battle erupted. Alara fought with fluid grace, her alien strength and speed overwhelming the Guardians. Liam, unarmed but desperate, used quick thinking to disable attackers, throwing them off balance with improvised tactics. Darek, skilled and seasoned, protected them with precise strikes. As the fight raged, Liam spotted a glowing chamber ahead. "A vault sealed with an ancient lock. We need to get to that vault," he shouted over the chaos. Alara nodded, sprinting forward. She reached out and placed her hand on the lock, which reacted to her touch, glowing bright green before sliding. Open with a hiss. Inside were scrolls, etched on glowing crystalline sheets. Liam grabbed one, unrolling it carefully. The writing was unlike anything he'd seen, symbols that seemed to move and shift, as if alive. Suddenly, the leader of the Guardians lunged toward them. "Enough!" the leader roared, his voice thick with rage. "You will regret this betrayal." Alara stepped forward, defiant. "We are not betraying our people. We are saving them," the leader sneered. "You are a traitor, Alara, and so is your human companion. The prophecy speaks of destruction, not salvation. Or perhaps of hope," Darek countered, stepping into the fray. A tense standoff followed. The leader gestured, and the Guardians retreated, vowing to return. Breathing heavily, the trio examined the scrolls. The prophecy told a tale of two worlds destined to unite through a rare bond. A bond that could awaken hidden powers within humans and aliens alike, bringing balance to their fractured galaxies. But it also warned of darkness, forces intent on preserving division and control. Liam's heart pounded as he read aloud a passage. "When the souls entwined, the universe will bend, and new light will dawn." Alara looked at him, eyes wide. "That's us." Over the next hours, they pieced together clues hidden within the archives. They learned of a device, a soul resonator, that could amplify the bond, making their connection a beacon to unite not just two souls, but two civilizations. But the device was lost, scattered across distant star systems long ago. "We have to find it," Liam said with determination. Alara nodded. "It's the key." Yet beneath their hope, doubts gnawed. Darek confessed a secret. "The Guardians have spies everywhere, even among those who seem our allies." Liam's mind raced. Who could they trust? And what if the prophecy was a weapon rather than salvation? As they prepared to leave, the silence was broken by a soft chime. A message appeared on their ship's console, encrypted and urgent. "They have the signal. They know. Run or fight, the future is watching." Outside, as their ship lifted from the moon's surface, a shadow detached itself from the swirling clouds, an enemy they had yet to meet. Watching. Waiting. Cliffhanger. Unknown to Alara and Liam, a third party, a mysterious figure with their own agenda, has infiltrated their ranks, poised to tip the balance between salvation and destruction. The quiet hum of the ship's engines was the only sound accompanying Alara, Liam, and Darek as they charted a course for the distant star system rumored to hold the fragments of the lost soul resonator. Yet despite the calm, an invisible storm churned beneath the surface, tensions unspoken and secrets too dangerous to reveal. Liam sat in the navigation bay, eyes scanning star maps, but his thoughts were elsewhere. The encrypted warning had shaken him to the core. They have the signal. They know. But who exactly was watching? Who was the shadow hidden within their midst? Darek, Alara said quietly as she approached him in the dimly lit common area. You said the Guardians have spies. How deep does this infiltration go? Darek's jaw tightened. Deeper than you can imagine. Some even walk among the highest councils of our homeworld. Liam looked up sharply. So, someone could be with us right now? Darek nodded grimly. It's a real possibility. We must be careful who we trust. The three agreed to keep a close watch, but the tension made every glance and word heavy with suspicion. Yet their mission was clear. Find the pieces of the soul resonator and awaken the bond the prophecy spoke of. Their first destination was a ruined space station orbiting a dying star. The station once served as a research outpost for an ancient alien alliance, long abandoned, its corridors rumored to hide fragments of forgotten technology. As they docked, an eerie silence enveloped them. The station's once bright halls were darkened, overgrown with alien moss-like growths glowing faintly in the shadows. Alara led the way, her senses alert. "This place feels off," Liam whispered. "Like someone's been here recently." They moved carefully, weapons ready but unraised, scanning for traps or ambush. In the central chamber, a pedestal sat cracked but intact. Upon it rested a crystalline shard, the first fragment of the soul resonator. Alara reached out, her fingers trembling. The shard pulsed softly, humming with energy. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. Red lights flashed, and from the shadows emerged figures, cloaked, fast-moving and armed. "Guardians," Darek growled, pulling his weapon. The firefight was brutal. Laser blasts echoed through the station as the trio fought desperately. Liam, though less trained, found moments of courage, dodging blasts and assisting Alara and Darek. Alara's alien agility saved them more than once, weaving through enemies with fluid grace. When the last attacker fell, silence returned. Breathless, Liam held the shard tightly. "One down!" But victory was short-lived. As they moved to leave, an unexpected voice echoed through the chamber. "Well done, but you're playing into my hands." From the shadows stepped a tall figure, her features sharp, eyes cold and calculating. The insignia on her uniform marked her as a high-ranking Guardian officer. "Who are you?" Alara demanded, stepping protectively in front of Liam. "I'm Ceres," the woman said with a chilling smile, "and I've been waiting for you." Ceres revealed herself as the mastermind behind the recent attacks, a zealot determined to prevent the prophecy from coming true. She believed unity between humans and aliens would bring chaos, and she would stop at nothing to preserve the old order. Liam's heart pounded. "Why? What do you gain from this?" Ceres's smile twisted. "Power, control, a future ruled by those who understand strength, not weakness." Alara stepped forward, voice steady. "You're wrong. The bond is hope. Hope for peace and survival." Ceres laughed bitterly. "Naive girl, hope has no place in war." A tense standoff followed, broken when Ceres activated a concealed device, triggering the station's self-destruct sequence. "You won't stop me," she hissed. "This ends now." The trio sprinted back to their ship, dodging collapsing corridors and energy blasts. Alara carried the shard carefully, its glow guiding them through the darkness. As they launched into space, the station exploded behind them, a fiery bloom against the black void. Safe, but shaken, Liam looked at Alara. "We have one piece, but we're running out of time." Days passed with relentless travel between stars. The bond between Alara and Liam deepened, her alien nature and his humanity merging in strange, beautiful ways. The Soulmate signal pulsed stronger with each shared moment, their connection unlocking hidden emotions neither fully understood. Yet, the shadow inside their group loomed ever larger. One evening, while reviewing star charts, Liam noticed something strange, a pattern in their logs he hadn't seen before. It was subtle but unmistakable. Someone had been accessing their coordinates without permission. He confronted Darek quietly. "Is there someone else on board? Are we being followed?" Darek's face darkened. "I don't know, but I'll find out." Meanwhile, Alara's dreams became restless. Visions of betrayal, faces hidden behind masks, and warnings whispered in a language she barely recognized. She confided in Liam. "Something's wrong. The prophecy. It's not just about us, it's about what comes after." Liam reached out, holding her hand. "We'll face it together." The truth was about to shatter their fragile trust. One night, Liam was jolted awake by a faint sound, soft footsteps outside his cabin. He crept out, heart racing. Peering around a corner, he saw a figure in the shadows, someone he recognized but hadn't fully trusted. Darek. "What are you doing?" Liam whispered. Darek's eyes flickered with surprise, then cold resolve. "I'm sorry, Liam," Darek said quietly. "I didn't want you to find out like this." Liam's voice trembled. "Tell me the truth." Darek confessed that he had been working as a double agent, torn between loyalty to his people and the hope the prophecy represented. "I had orders to sabotage your mission," he said. "But after seeing you, Alara, I'm not sure anymore." Liam felt the weight of betrayal and relief collide. "Why tell me now?" he asked. "Because the real enemy is closer than we think," Darek warned. "Ceres has allies everywhere, and they're coming." Just then, the ship's alarm blared. A fleet of hostile vessels appeared on the radar, closing fast. "We don't have much time," Alara said, rushing in. The group braced for the incoming battle. Cliffhanger. As the enemy ships closed in, Liam realized that the infiltrator was only the beginning. A greater force, bent on stopping the prophecy at all costs, was ready to strike. And the fate of two worlds hung in the balance. The enemy fleet loomed like a dark storm on the horizon, cutting through the void with mechanical precision. Alara, Liam, and Darek stood together on the command deck, eyes locked on the approaching vessels. The weight of what was to come pressed down on them like the gravity of a dying star. "We have no chance in a head-on fight," Liam said grimly. "We need another way." Alara's fingers hovered over the console, the shard of the soul resonator glowing warmly in her palm. "The prophecy said the bond would be our strength, not just a signal, but a bridge." Darek nodded. "If we can fully activate the resonator, maybe it can disrupt their systems, give us an edge." The trio scrambled to assemble the resonator fragments they'd gathered from the ruins and scattered outposts. Each piece resonated with a unique energy, like notes in a cosmic symphony. As the fragments joined, the device began to hum, pulsing, with life. Alara reached out and touched the assembled resonator. The glowing energy surged through her, weaving a connection not just between herself and Liam, but across the ship, across species, cultures, even ideologies. Suddenly, the ship's sensors began to malfunction. The hostile fleet's weapon systems were going haywire, locked in endless cycles of self-interference. Liam smiled in disbelief. "It's working." But their victory was fragile. The enemy commander's voice crackled over the comm channel, cold and ruthless. "You think this will stop us? Your bond means nothing. You're alone, and we will destroy everything you hold dear." In the command deck, Alara's heartbeat synchronized with the resonator's rhythm. She saw flashes of images, memories of her ancestors, of Liam's childhood, of the lives that had led them to this moment. "This bond," she whispered, "is more than fate. It's choice. It's unity." The resonator's light enveloped the ship, streaming outwards in waves of energy that disabled the enemy ships one by one. Their attacks faltered, systems shut down, weapons fell silent. But then, the unexpected happened. From the remaining ships, a smaller craft detached and charged toward them at impossible speed. "Brace yourselves!" Darek shouted. The craft rammed into their hull, causing a violent explosion. Alara was thrown to the floor, clutching the resonator tightly. When the dust settled, a figure emerged from the wreckage. Ceres, defiant and wounded. "You may have won this battle," she spat, "but the war is far from over." Liam stepped forward, anger and pity in his eyes. "Why all this hate? Why refuse peace?" Ceres's face twisted with pain. "Because I saw what unity cost us, our traditions, our power. I won't let that be erased." Alara stood tall. "We don't want to erase anything. We want to build together a future where differences are strength." With that, Ceres, seeing the unyielding resolve and the glowing bond between Alara and Liam, lowered her weapon and collapsed. Defeated, not by force, but by hope. Days later, the dust had settled. The warships were disarmed, the spies uncovered, and the shattered alliances began to heal. Alara and Liam stood on the bridge, watching the stars with renewed hope. "Do you think it's truly over?" Liam asked softly. Alara smiled. "It never really ends, but it begins anew. This bond, it's a promise that even in the darkest void, light can unite us." Final reflection. The Soul Resonator was more than a piece of alien technology. It was a symbol, a beacon showing the connection, understanding and empathy are the true forces that transcend worlds. The prophecy wasn't about predestined fate, but about choice. The choice to embrace difference, to overcome fear, and to build something greater together. Liam and Alara's journey was a testament to humanity's enduring spirit and the universal desire for belonging. In the vast cosmos, where stars rise and fall, the greatest power was not in conquest, but in compassion, and that, above all, was the lesson left for generations to come. The end.